Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and start nitpicking everything to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
I'm Marissa, and this is Megan.
Hello.
Did I do that correctly, Megan?
You did.
Yes.
I didn't even look at it, and it felt right to me.
I saw you look down, and I was all like, oh, she's gonna know.
I was like, I should look down to read it. Oh, it's not even on the right page. That's fine.
Oh, perfect. So, for all I know, I did it perfectly.
You did.
You left out a huge chunk, actually, and then we'll figure it out when you're editing.
Yeah, exactly. So, like always, let's get started with what are we drinking today? Megan, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Steeped in Folklore, and since we've actually officially hit September, it is pumpkin season.
That started
Gross.
in August for me.
Technically, all the pumpkin stuff, I did notice at like the end of August, and I was like, it is beginning. So I put a splash of oat milk, pumpkin spice oat milk, I think, in it. And it's okay. I think the Steeped in Folklore is better by itself, but I thought it would be good because it has that, banana bread flavor. Yeah. So I thought it would be great with pumpkin, but nah, it's meh. Yeah. But Jenna's is delicious. What's yours, Jenna?
Yeah, Jenna,
So I took your pumpkin oat milk, pumpkin spice oat milk thing, and I used it to make latte style decaf cinnamon hazelnut tea. And it pretty much tastes like fall in a cup. But yeah, it's funny because so funny story, kind of gonna give you guys a little tangent because why not? Everyone gets to listen to my random tangents.
We love it.
So I messaged our friend Angela, who we've had on this podcast before, like the first weekend of August or something. We had like a no longer 100-degree weekend. And
was that the weekend that it was genuinely cold?
I think it wasn't that weekend, but that weekend it definitely was a full-on pumpkin, yes. But no, I think it was just the first one that was like maybe like it was low 90s. And I was just like, so I know that I'm officially crazy because my mind went, ooh, it's August. That means it's pretty much September, which means it's almost October, which means I can have pumpkins. Which means that's not long until I can get eggnog stuff because I love eggnog stuff. And then and this is how quickly it happened, guys. In my mind, I went, eggnog doesn't last very long. It's already almost the end of the year. Holidays are going to be over soon. And that quickly I got sad over not having eggnog when it hasn't even hit eggnog season yet. And that's my level of crazy. So welcome to my life, guys.
I'm always sad about how quickly eggnog arrives and disappears.
I'm genuinely thinking about getting like an ice tray and freezing eggnog in ice trays.
Genius.
So that I can randomly have it if I crave it throughout the year.
Genius.
Yeah, I love eggnog.
You can always make it as well.
Yeah, you could, but that's a lot of work, and I'd rather just, freeze it and have a bag of eggnog ice. Or my husband can make fun of me because I freeze random things that are my emergency if I crave them things that I can't get all the time.
You're like, you never know. True. You never know.
Right.
It's true. Your freezer is like overflowing. I was just thinking, where are you going to fit the eggnog ice?
I'll figure it out.
Marissa, what are you drinking?
I am just drinking
in French.
Oh yeah, the French version.
Megan saw the box. She's like, you're going to have to pronounce this. And I'm all like, you're looking on the wrong side. It's just a wild berry hibiscus tea. I think I've had it on the podcast before a little while back. I got it from Pete's Coffee, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good. I think I said it tasted like a Jolly Rancher the first time.
It looks like a Jolly Rancher. It's very
does.
bright red.
Hibiscus is good for that.
Hibiscus is a sweetener, right? Or is it just a flavorer?
It's kind of tart. It gives it a little bit more of a tart cherry
because it's in lots
flavor.
of herbals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good for you. And actually, interesting fact, hibiscus will help lower blood pressure.
Oh, I need to make some for my husband.
Yeah, there you go. It's very good tea for you, but not recommended for pregnancy.
Right.
So, fun facts with Jenna. And tea.
That's my jam.
All right, guys. So this chapter, I should say, Megan had the fun idea of us talking about some pet peeves that we have with the books and how they're published and just any other things we need to get off of our chest about. Yeah, exactly. About literature in general. So Megan, why don't you get us started with it?
Okay, so my biggest pet peeve, and I do think most readers will agree with me, is when they change the cover, like the whole design of the cover, midway through the series. And some of these that have done that was An Ember in the Ashes,
Yes.
where I will say they changed the cover for the better.
Right.
I do like the covers. Granted, they have also changed the covers once again.
Mm-hmm.
So they went from this kind of like, it was like a silhouette of characters in front of like a big old gate or something. And then they went to actual characters on the cover, like illustrated style. And then now it's more of like this abstract like hint of what the story is about, that I think they're kind of going towards, because they did that for Court of Thorns and Roses as well. And I think they're going for that trend these days. But yeah, you cannot get the illustrated covers with the characters on the cover in all hardback, because if they did it, I think for the third one. So you could get the first two in paperback and then the last two are in hardback. But no, they need to match.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
have
have
the
half.
first two in paperback and the first two in hardback, and it drives me absolutely bonkers.
And are they different covers?
No, right now they're all actually the same cover, which is good. But I literally search everywhere, and when I find them, I'll buy them so that they all match one day to find them all in hardback. But honestly, I bought An Ember in the Ashes not knowing that I was going to love the story so much, and I
Right.
bought it in paperback thinking, okay, cool, it's probably a duology. Got through the duology and went, crap, it's a trilogy. Then the third one came out and went, no,
it's a quadrilogy. Oh,
so yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, it was. I did not prepare for loving that book as much as I did. So that was my fault. Should have known better.
Another, and this was just a duology, but was the Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. It was Defy the Stars and Defy the Worlds, and Defy the Stars was this beautiful like purple cover, and it had this like geometric explosion with like the words were also like being destroyed by this explosion. It was absolutely gorgeous. I loved that cover. I chose that book only for the cover. I had not read a Claudia Gray book before. Loved it. And then the second one came out and they put people's faces on it, and it was like real people. And that's like a minor pet peeve of mine, is when they have real people on the covers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want real people. I want illustrated or designs, like really cool designs. And this one, it was like they were like fading, and it was like they're looking at each other, and I was just like, no, I don't want that. I want like a matching cover to my beautiful purple explosion. So
Every time they have real people on the cover, I think one of two things: either it's a movie, so they're trying to promote the movie, or it's a trashy romance novel that like people just buy, and you have those like models that are just models for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I always think of when I see real people on the cover, I'm like, oh, it's a trashy romance novel.
I don't want that.
Interestingly, I can do real people if it's like weirdly artsy cut out and you get like just part of their face or something. But when
that's kind of how this one was, but
no, like I don't know, like I can do that a little bit, but it's like for some reason, yeah, it just does give a completely different vibe when you.
Didn't we have a friend that modeled for romance books?
Possibly.
That would be
that
amazing.
we worked with.
It's possible. For me, my biggest pet peeve, I think, is stickers that aren't really stickers on the cover of books.
Oh.
I mean, I hate stickers on books anyway. It's annoying, but you know, I understand you have to put the 20% off sticker that you can eventually. If it's part of now the dust jacket or whatever, I'm like
Reese's book club or whatever.
Right. And I'm like, I don't want your sticker stuck to my book. I want to take it off.
Now a major
motion picture.
That one.
Yes. Or even that thing where they all make it up over motion picture.
The only time I'll be okay is if it's like awards.
Right.
If it's like, this book has won awards. And I'm like, yeah, you do you, because you deserve that.
Right. You've won awards. You could, but at the same time, still for me, it's like, I want to enjoy the whole thing. And oftentimes it covers something.
Oh, right.
Like, I'll be like, it'll be covering a part of a name or a part of a quote or something. And I'm like, I don't care if it's 20% off at Target. I don't need to remember this 70 years from now when I'm looking at my bookshelf. I got it for 20% off at Target.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's my little pet peeve of The publishing world.
The nice thing about the 20% off Targets, though, is that they do peel off really nicely.
Those ones are great.
There's others, though,
Yeah.
that destroy the cover. And everyone's like, yeah, just use Goo Off or Goo Be Gone. And I'm just like, I'm not going to put any chemical on my book.
Right.
How dare you? And then, but also, when you peel it off, it leaves that residue, and you're just like,
And you'll never get the residue off ever because
Never.
I use if I'm smart and I think about it ahead of time, I use a hairdryer.
oh, okay, yeah.
Hair dry the sticker and it kind of like softens up the goo a little bit and comes up. You still get a little bit of it, but it does make it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate stickers. Stickers, I understand the necessity of them. I just don't want them. And I definitely don't want them permanently stuck on my cover. Marissa, what about you? Do you have a pet peeve?
Mine's just book jackets, sleeves, whatever in general.
Marissa doesn't like book
I
jackets.
can't stand them, and I know it comes with the territory of it all. I absolutely love books that are hardcovers that don't have it. It's
Naked
just
books.
the cover. It's so nice, but when it has the cover on it, I can't stand it. I immediately throw that away.
I'm so the opposite, because anytime an Owl Crate or a Luma Crate or a Fairy Looter book, they're just like, we're going to give you a naked book. And I'm just like, I don't want a naked book.
I love the naked books. I can't, and it sucks too, because I mean, like you, Megan, I love the covers of things. It's so beautiful. It's so great. But when it's on the like jacket part of it, I'm like, this is gonna get so crumpled because I am not going to care for it.
Would you use something then to protect the book? So I got a books. It's not like a book sleeve, but it's
No, I
like
take care of my books. No, I'm just kidding.
I am gentle with my little babies. But it's like the thing that you can like put over it. That's like a dust jacket, but it actually stays on.
Like the stretchy ones or
Yeah,
whatever.
or
I've
something
seen
like
those. I've seen those mostly because of like school textbooks and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
have those things. I don't. Anything on it that moves around and
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
I
yeah.
can't do that. Like I need the solid book in my hand.
Yeah.
And anything that's like covering it does not, it slides, and I can't stand that.
So then do you also then prefer paperbacks because of that? Because they don't come with dust jackets? Or do you prefer the hardcover? Doesn't matter. A book's a book.
Yeah, a book's a book. I like hardcover because it's something sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like flop around and stuff like that. But yes, I do a lot of the times prefer paperbacks in general, and just the fact that like I don't have to worry about that sleeve.
Yeah.
The best is the naked book where it's just like the design is just on the hardcover.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like about book sleeves is that inevitably you finally find the hardcover book that you've been looking for forever in a bookshop and it's ripped. The book sleeve is ripped because someone's been rough with it or in transit and it's just paper on top and you're like, I'm waiting for this forever and I found it finally and it's ripped or it's dented. And you're like digging through to try to find the one that's not messed up.
Right. But that was the last one. And
Right.
you're just like, no. Yeah.
I was gonna say one of the things, and we're all gonna have to take a drink, but Gail Carriger's books, I wanted to find the Parasol Protectorate in hardback because favorite series wanted to have like a nice hardback version. The first one's the only one in hardback.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever seen those bookbinding videos?
No.
Yes, I want to do it so bad.
You want to
I'm
learn how to
scared.
bookbind? You'd have to tear. I mean, you have to tear up the. Oh yeah.
I have two
Cheers,
copies.
Cheers to Gail Carriger. Cheers. This actually leads into my next one, which is about the Parasol Protectorate. So you guys gave me the Parasol Protectorate for my birthday
yeah.
after I got married. When I came home, and you guys were just like, "Here's Parasol Protectorate. Here's Dante. What was it? Aristotle and Dante."
Yes, Aristotle and Dante discover the universe.
And then the Night Circus.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was in 2016 because that was the year I got married. And then in 2017, when I went to Australia to work with Amy Coffin and Jay Kristoff, I decided I was going to finish up the series and buy the rest of them. And so I'm looking at them, and I found them in a bookshop, obviously. It was Dymocks, I think it was called. Even though it's Dymocks, and I always say it's Dymocks, but I know it's Dymocks. Anyway, so I went there, and I found the last 4, and I was so excited. And I had this whole suitcase of just books that I was bringing back because it's hard to get English books in Korea. So I brought it back and I went to go put them on my shelves, and they are like half an inch smaller than the one you guys gave me because I guess the Australian size is slightly smaller. And I was like, no, obviously I cannot return them.
No.
So I still have them, and they're on my shelf, and there's just Parasol Protectorate. No, what's the first one?
Soulless.
The mother, and then all her little babies next to her. And
Well, then you could get the hardcover because then it would make sense.
It wouldn't even matter. Right. And so that is one that I mean, obviously it can't be helped because it is a different style of binding for different countries. So it could not be helped. But the feeling, another one is Take a Drink, Cassandra Clare's. The first 6 books are, what are those called? What's that series called?
The Mortal Instruments.
The Mortal Instruments, and then the other 3, the prequels,
Mm-hmm.
are a lot bigger. The sequels are prequels are a lot bigger in size as well. And no matter what, everyone on like any book group that I am in complains about the different sizes.
I think the thing too, I mean, Mortal Instruments has so many different covers now.
Yeah, it does.
I don't remember. I know I could think of at least 2, and it's the ones that you have, and then they came out with a new one after we finished it.
Yeah.
But I think there's like at least another.
Well, they made the TV show, so then they have the TV show on it.
And they had the first book that had the movie actors on it.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I just have the ones where the spines make up like the picture of the bridge.
Yeah.
And
that's like the black and white
That's
one.
the newer one, I
Yeah,
think.
that's a newer one.
Yeah. And I wanted it specifically because I love when spines make up that like design and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But if you wanted the matching ones of the prequels where they're looking at the bridge as well, it's just significantly bigger.
I don't know what series it was, but there's somebody on Book Talk that had like the spines all matched up except for like one of them like was lowered slightly.
Oh.
He was like, he was going off on it.
Oh.
The worst.
And that like happens sometimes if the publishers either change like their manufacturers or but if it's just like one in the middle of the series or at the very end or something.
That's what it was. It was all, I think it was like a 6-book series, and it was the 5th book went down and then the 6th one went back up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure to keep your books the same size.
Consistent. We want it to look
Consistent.
beautiful on our shelves. Look, in a world nowadays where we can get anything on our phones, the fact that we are diehard enthusiasts of having physical copies of books means that we expect perfection.
Right.
And we want the most beautiful versions.
I actually was just looking up, because I told you in one of our previous episodes, I never finished the 7 Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb, and that was a Fairy Loot book. And I thought it was an Illumicrate book because it's so small. And so I went up and I'm just about to finish it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to look and see if Fairy Loot has the next one because, you know, I want to get the matching set for it. And they didn't do that because everyone hated that it was such a small book compared to everything else, which is all the same exact size. And I didn't even realize. I was like, oh, dang. Well, so they're not going to print it. So I'll never have a matching one for that.
That's another hard part about book boxes is that you get the special print, but if it's part of a series, it's like, cool, you get the special print for one of them.
Fairy Loot does really good with their sequels. And so I'm able to get most of my sequels through them that I've gotten through book boxes. But Owl Crate is one that didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that is, well, like, they did it eventually. So, like, they did for Once Upon a Broken Heart. They did it for that. I think they eventually did it for The Cruel Prince. But I didn't like those covers anyway, so I didn't want that one. But all of the ones that I really liked, like the one that was The Count of Monte Cristo, Scavenge the Stars, I really wanted a sequel to that one because they completely changed the cover of that one. It wasn't just like a subtle color change. It was like a completely different cover that didn't have a person on it. The original cover had a person on it. And I will never get the second one because it doesn't match. Book boxes, get it together, man.
I feel that way with when they do like anniversary edition prints.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
just do the first book. Like I think they did it with A Court of Thorn and Roses. They had like a special anniversary edition of A Court of Thorn and Roses. And I'm like, wow, it's pretty. But why would I buy that when it's 4 books, gonna be 5 books, and I'll never get the matching 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5.
What you need is you have the one shelf that is just like the special bookshelf where it's like all the single prints that have like their own special thing. And then the rest you have the series shelf
Yeah.
where they all match, and you get the like old one that's not the nice one.
Right.
And those are the ones you let your friends read to make sure that they like it.
There you
Yes.
go. I actually just got the special edition from Illumicrate of the third Sabriel book, so Abortion. I actually just got it today, and I sent a video to Ryan, our DM, because he just finished the series recently, and I was just like, look at how beautiful it is. But
And he's like, I finally understand your character now.
We had this discussion with you Miss D&D last time. It was so heavy.
So basically, my D&D character is a homebrew based off of like the Abortion class, who is like a mix of a bard and a paladin? I don't know. Anyway, she's awesome. But Ryan was just like, yeah, I was talking to my roommate and I was just like, yeah, we're doing this really cool thing with Megan's character. And he's like, well, have you read the books recently? He's like, I haven't read them since like high school. And he's like, dude, you should read the books. And he was like, yeah, I should probably read the books. And then he came back. He's like, yeah, I understand everything now. Also, Garth Nix, if you happen to be listening, we would like to create a TTRPG of your series. So please give us
Get in contact with us.
Yeah, we'd love to be friends. But anyway, so they had the 25th they had the 25th anniversary edition of Sabriel come out, and I'm really hoping that they do the 25th anniversary of Lyriel, who's the second one, and that came out in 2001. I just looked today. It came out in 2001, so the 25th anniversary will be 2026. So I'm hoping. Well, he doesn't have a say. It's all the friggin' publishers.
But if he could just, like,
he just push them in the right
nudge
direction.
them.
Yeah.
Like, I take
Listen.
my readers seriously. They take my books seriously.
Let's just do this.
Let's talk. You can vent to us about how horrible it is to work with the publishers that won't listen to you. We can, come up with a game. Just reach out to us, Dark Nix.
But I do hope that Illumicrate that I just got, like the main trilogy is done now, but there's 3 other books plus the 2 anthologies. So there's 5 more books that they could do. And if they just keep coming out, they've got 5 years worth of money coming out of me. If they just wanted to, I would not complain. I would actually thank them and pay them the amount of money that I pay them because it's worth it. So it's real pretty.
If you're motivated by at least one person.
It's me, number 145, because each edition is specially numbered as well.
Oh.
I am number 145. So please listen.
Listen to me.
Hashtag not an ad, but hey, we will sponsor you if you want us to.
Right.
If you listen to us.
That was not a pet peeve. It was a rant about
My pet
your pet
peeve
peeve, yes.
with special editions that they don't continue to make special editions on.
but they
But I
should.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I watch those videos of people bookbinding and spraying their
It looks
edges,
so satisfying.
I'm like, look, when my son is no longer in my face all the time, I want to take on this hobby and start binding my own books and making them all very beautiful, and then I don't have to worry about if all your books don't match.
Right.
'Cause
You
I
could
can
just
make
make them
them
your
myself.
own, yeah. I've seen like the videos of them printing not the sprayed edges, but like the actual like painted edges.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're not painted, well they're spray painted, and it's like a printer. It was so cool. It's like this giant printer, and they can load up like 20 books at a time. And because it's all digital and I assume AI related, they can like paint so much on like however many inches the pages are, and it just knows, and it looks real good. Yeah, I've seen it. It's really cool. Let's do it.
Take
So,
on this hobby.
Brawless Book Guild with our own special editions.
Brawless Book Guild edition.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Each one will have to get, those like stamps that you can like, it's like an embosser on a page. We'll just like on the very back page or the very front page, just a bra.
I
with a
thought you were going to say
X.
we're going to do the crocheted bras, and then people can take the bras off.
We saw, what was it called? I sent it, right? Crocheting is actually a fun hobby sometimes. Look at the book thong I just made. It's really cute. And I was like, okay, we can make bras.
Have
We could
little
totally
book
do it.
bras.
But the whole point is you take off your bra.
Exactly.
To read your book. Because it's a
Right.
bookmark. Okay. Genius. Let's patent this. How do we go about trademarking stuff?
I don't think
Anyone?
we'll figure it out. We
There's a
can Google
website
that.
for it.
Yeah. What's your next one, Marissa?
Oh, I didn't have any really planned because we decided this very last minute. So,
We did.
mine was more about like writing.
Yeah.
Like
I actually have a couple about writing as well.
And we've discussed this before, and I think in our Pride Month ones, but one of my biggest pet peeves is when there's a queer character and they have to, like, they are being targeted because of some sort of religion on it. And I understand why it's written and why it's very important to be written, because a lot of people relate to it. It's not what I want to read anymore.
Yeah.
Some people's, like, a lot of people rave about the book, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, I think is what it's called. I'll have to double check that. But, I remember reading it, and it was a good book, but it was all about her, you know, her family not understanding and sending her to a conversion camp, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get so tired of books like that.
Right.
So that's one of my biggest pet peeves. And, like, especially when it's in, like, a fantasy setting of, like, you're in a fantasy world. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Make up your own rules.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's one of those things where it's like there's certain topics that are definitely important to tackle in books because books should make you think. But if you're not in the mindset for wanting to read that type of book, if every book uses that topic, it's like I want to live in a fantasy world so that I can live in a fantasy world where magic is real. I don't want to live in a fantasy world so I can deal with real world problems.
Where bigotry is still a thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker,
Sorry,
yes.
had to
I knew it was a
figure that out
Chris.
because I was like, this is going to drive me nuts.
But yeah, I don't think that, for me personally, that's how I feel. Like, I don't think people think that about me, of like, oh, she's gay, that's very interesting. I think that's a good thing, is that I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it when it's in books, where it's all
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the interesting part. What?
is the
You're
plot line.
gay?
Yeah.
It's like, something I very much appreciate about Samantha Shannon's work, is there's queer people everywhere, and
yeah.
it's just is.
It
Like,
just is.
Nobody is all like, you can't be with another woman. It's just like, it just is.
Yeah.
It just, yes. And I think that's something when I first read The Priory of the Orange Tree forever ago, I was just like, I mean, I already talked about how I thought the dragons were a whole allegory thing, and then I read it and I was like, the dragons are real. But like, them just all, like, I'd say 90% of the characters were gay. 99% of the characters. I think there was only one character in The Priory of the Orange Tree that wasn't gay. And I was just like, dang, this is how it should be. Like, I just want it everywhere now. I just want it to be normalized.
Yeah.
In all my books. Ashley Poston does it very well as well.
She does. It's
We
never
always-
like one of those like, oh, but that person's gay. Like, it's just, it just is. They just
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I love it.
What do you got next, Megan?
So this one is a very specific thing, and it's a recent topic. I will not talk about the author that did it, but there are many authors out there. George R. R. Martin is one, but one where it takes them forever to finish a book, which, again, you have your own life, but to the point that by the time the book is released, you can very much tell that, one, they were either not interested in it anymore, or they forgot who their characters and their characters' motivations were. And this one, the series recently finished. It was a pretty big series. When it first came out, the first one was actually, like, really good. I did think when I read it that, like, the first book could have been better if it, like, 100 pages were missing, or were, like, if it was condensed by 100 pages. But then the second one came out and everyone was just kind of like, wow, the motivations of the characters were really weird. And it was like a 4-year difference between the two. And then it was a 5-year difference between when book 2 and book 3 came out just earlier this year. And the reviews for the third book was not good. And everyone was just like, I don't think she knew where she was going with this when she started this series, or it's just changed over the course of, 8-ish years, that she just doesn't know her characters anymore, is not interested, or yeah. So
Her characters have developed in a background that she didn't actually put onto the page.
exactly. Or like they said there was just a like characters that were introduced in book 2 were not in book 3, and everyone was like, well, what happened to these characters? They weren't even mentioned. And then there was a random love interest that was like suddenly introduced, and they were just like, wait, what? There was no progression from book 1 to book 2, and now suddenly they're in love in book 3. So
That happened in my video game, but this is a book podcast, so I'm not going to talk about it. But that literally happens in like the third sequence in the video game. It's all like all of a sudden the main character's in a relationship with somebody that's completely different than the first two games.
And what game was this? I just want
Jack and Daxter.
Oh.
So like Jack and Daxter and Jack 2, Jack is with Kira. Like they've got like this love story going on. And it's like basically solidified at the end of Jack 2. And then all of a sudden in Jack 3, he's got something going on with Ashlyn, who was in a relationship with somebody else. It like all came out of nowhere.
Dang.
So kind of going off of that, I do like... So the pet peeve is something that is almost a universal thing, and it happens more than it doesn't. So I'm going to talk about a thing that I do like, which is when it takes so long between books coming out, and then the author recognizes that in the new book and is like, hey, here's a quick little recap of what you missed. Specifically, I'm thinking of the Nevernight series by Jay Kristoff. Literally has, like, the narrators all like, hey, you remember what happened last time? This, and this.
Yes.
At the very beginning. I'm like, yes.
So Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, they are very adamant that even though their books, like, I mean, Empire of the Vampire came out many years ago, and then Empire of the Damned came out just last year. But, so there was, like, big space in between. But I will say, I think Nevernight, it was only...
I don't know, because it was
like 1 or 2 years in between, but it wasn't...
It was all already out by the time I read it.
Okay, yeah.
So I wasn't waiting on it.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate it, because when I read the first one, I didn't have the second one yet.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I have to go get it. And I got it. And it was probably just like a few weeks between,
right.
But I was like, this is still really good.
Yeah, and Amy, she even talks about, in any book that she releases, she's just like, hey guys, just so you know, there's a little mini recap in the very beginning of my book, so you can, always refresh, and you don't have to reread the first book. I always do, just because I like to have that back in my brain. But yeah, so like that's what I was saying with Empire of the Vampire. I will not be reading book 2 until book 3 comes out, because I don't want to reread book 1, book 2, and then go into book 3, because they're like 800-page books.
Yeah.
They're massive. But the nice thing, if there is a very large space in between them, then I don't feel bad about being like, okay, it's been a hot minute since I read this book. I don't really remember what's going on. I can reread it and be refreshed.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But yes, having those little blurbs is so nice.
Exactly.
We appreciate you.
It's a pet peeve that doesn't happen, but like I said, it happens more often than it does. So.
Yeah.
What else you got, Jenna?
For me, it's dialogue. So there is a lot of authors out there where the dialogue feels incredibly forced. And if I can read a book and I just think, no one would actually say that, and it's like, I can't even think like of I can think of specific examples, but I'm not book bashing here. They'll be like, oh yeah, well, you don't even care about me anyway, or something. And it's like, just like feels like awkward and forced, and like,
or like in like all of those CW shows, it's like, hey brother, you're like my coolest brother ever, and you know what my favorite part about you is that you're the quarterback of the football. It's like nobody's ever gonna nobody's ever gonna talk about that. Their brothers that way.
The ways that like, and it's very obvious that like the author wants to get a point across, but it just feels like, I understand in the moment when you're writing your first draft, totally. I get it.
Yeah,
write your first draft and have the awkward conversations back and forth that, you now noted, this is what's I need to make this point at some point. But sometimes I'll be reading books and it's like, gosh, you're just sitting there and you're like, this isn't even like a real conversation, and I can literally decipher what the author is trying to make me understand. And it's taking me out of the book, because all I'm thinking about is, okay, just get to your point. Like, you're trying to make this point so that I now know that this is an important thing and I have to pay attention to it. Which also then, it's like burying the lead for me. You're like, you've given away your entire book and plot line and story, and I want it to feel natural and progress and not be like, oh, Chekhov's gun, I see it. See you there.
One of my big things with that is when siblings use like bro and sis or something like that to talk to each other, because I feel like we don't do that.
Well, we do,
I don't
like
know
my sister, but
but that's different, because that's like a little almost inside joke,
right?
I don't know any siblings, and I mean, I'm sure there are some out there, but for me personally, I don't know any siblings that are just all like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? Not much, sis. It's like, I don't hear that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling my brother bro now.
Yeah.
I mean, well, a part of our dialect is just calling everyone dude, so.
Right.
It's true. And like I was saying, Jenna and I have that, like, oh, it's my sister. But we don't.
We do it like when we call each other.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's-
sister, how are you?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're walking down the street. Hey, my sister, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we might if we saw each. I think it might have done it when we saw you at Walmart that one time, and I was like, "My sister."
Yeah.
but,
But it's not
That's
just
a
like
special moment.
Hey, what's up, sister? Like,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Not much
Or-
other sister.
Constantly using each other's names. And this is something that I
Yes.
notice, especially in like very recently, like the adult, like sexy books that are out
Right.
there, the spicy books, as they call them, are out there. And I do this a lot in my writing for work, is that you use the character's name as like it's like a control, like a dominant thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do notice that they do that. But there was one book I read where almost every line they used the character's name, and I was just like, okay, calm down.
Right.
Calm down.
Right. Try
We
to.
don't need that much.
For me, it's like, I almost want people to do dialogue and like think about like, would this be something that you'd actually hear? Would your characters actually say these things? And like, because if it doesn't read like that, we're gonna be very aware of the fact that we're reading a book.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to be aware of the fact that I'm reading a book.
Having beta readers will help you.
Yeah.
I notice sometimes that, like, when I read a book, sometimes I read it and I'm like, I don't understand how this dialogue is supposed to be, like, acted out, really, if
Yeah.
it was, like, real life. But I've had it where, like, somebody else has read it or I've heard it in audiobook style. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I can't think
Yeah.
of, like, a specific scene or anything, but I've done that before where I've, like, heard it and I'm like, oh, there's a different inflection there that I didn't expect.
Right.
And it makes more sense the way they said it.
Right.
I guess I maybe I should give some others some credit. Maybe it does make sense, and I just don't enjoy the way that people are talking. But if I can sit there and be like, oh, I see the point you're trying to make,
Yeah.
then I'm like, I don't know. I understand that dialogue should have a point, and you shouldn't just have random scenes for the sake of having random scenes. But when you're reading a book, I want to be so immersed in it that I'm not sitting there as Jenna critiquing your dialogue. I want to.
Who wrote The Grapes of Wrath?
John Steinbeck.
I was going to say Steinbeck does scenes for just the sake of having scenes.
Yeah.
And then who was the one who, Hills Like White Elephants, who wrote that one? Hemingway. Oh, freaking Hemingway.
I love Steinbeck, but his scenes, yeah, there are scenes for having the sake of having scenes. Although, a lot of his stuff is, like, East of Eden is just it's a big allegory for the Bible. It's just a retelling of the Bible, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, it can be intense reading a lot of his scenes for the sake of scenes.
Do you have more?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so go ahead, Megan, first.
So mine is audiobook narrators.
Yes.
If they're not good, and it just segues from what you were just saying, if
Perfect.
they're not good, and the one that I am listening to right now, which is The Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, which is part of the Dark Shade of Magic universe, 2 of the 3 narrators are not good. And I want to just push through because after last month reading so many books, I've been like really struggling to get into anything. But part of me is just thinking, I don't know if I can do this one in audiobook. I think this will just have to be a reading book because it's so, the male voice is so robotic. And then the other female voice, there's two female voices and one male voice. The one male voice is so robotic. I do not care for it. And he does multiple voices, like multiple characters. And then the one female voice is supposed to do this like 7-year-old girl, but her voice is so old, like older, that it doesn't fit. Whereas if you have like someone like, I'm thinking Fiona Hardingham, who I really love, she can do a young girl's voice while still retaining like that feeling of, yes, I'm listening to an adult woman, like doing the voice. But then the third narrator is fantastic. And she was also the narrator for Garth Nix's The Left-Handed Booksellers of London. And I really liked her. So I want to stick it out for her, but when you have 2 out of 3 that are not good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think definitely, and we talked about it when we did Girls of Paper and Fire, where it's like, you have to have the right narrator for the right story.
Yep.
Somebody could be a good narrator on the wrong story.
Right.
And it's a hard thing to do. And that's why I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks in general. You've got to find the right ones, because if you start listening to it and it's not the right one, a lot of the times I probably wouldn't read the book even.
Right.
I'd shut it down because I would hear their voice when I was reading it as well.
And that's part of me is wondering if maybe this is not a book I will be reading this year, and I just need to take a break and just maybe put it on my shelf for next year and just say, okay, now, that's a next year book.
If I've started the book without listening to the audiobook, like I started reading it myself, went to listen to the audiobook, decided it wasn't for me and go back, I think I could continue reading it. But I think if I started with the audiobook, I would not be able to go back.
Oh, interesting.
Because I did that with Tempest of Tea. I started reading it, and then I did the audiobook. And I can't remember it that well. I think the narrator was fine, but it wasn't anything spectacular in my opinion. But when I was reading the physical part of the book, I was never hearing the narrator's voice because I started it with my own voice.
Yeah.
So
I also don't like when they change narrators in the different the between the series. And this is one where I understand why they changed it, but I've done The Priory of the Orange Tree, I've read the ebook, I've done the physical book, and I've done the audiobook because I love it so much. And I loved the narrator for the audiobook. And unfortunately, it's an Audible exclusive, so you can't get it from like Libby or your library or anything. And she was fantastic. But then when I was both reading, because before I went to the Samantha Shannon signing, I really wanted to finish the book before or get a huge chunk of it. So I was switching between the ebook and the audio book for that one. And they had completely changed the characters, or like the narrator. And I understand that because it is set 500 years in the past.
Yeah, it's completely different characters.
So it's, completely different characters, completely different, like, world even.
Yeah.
So I understood that, but I loved the narrator for Priory, that I really wish that she could have done Day of Fallen Night.
Yeah.
But I understood. And it had a cast, whereas Priory was just one narrator. And then,
interesting. Day of Fallen Night has a cast.
It has a full cast. Oh. So it has, I think, like upwards of 5 voices for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, kind of going off of like Audible or audiobook type stuff too. One of my pet peeves, and it's happening with reading A Day of Fallen Night, is just words I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even think of how I would pronounce it in my head, and so I have to, like, completely make up a word just to get past it.
Jasmine Throne.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad, because, like...
They were so long.
There were some that obviously we talked about it a little bit of, like, I made up, or like I know I pronounced...
Ahidanya as Aranya, or
Ariana. Yeah. I know I pronounced it wrong, but it was close enough to what I was reading that I could get past it. There are some, like, places in A Day of Fallen Night and The Priory of the Orange Tree that I'm like, I can't even possibly think of how I'm supposed to pronounce this, and I can't even come up with a stupid different word to get past it.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a pet peeve of mine, especially in, like, fantasy books like that. Like, I think Jasmine Throne, a lot of it was rooted in just a language I didn't know.
Okay.
Which is fine, because it's just a language I didn't know. Where it's like a fantasy book with a fantasy language that I don't know. I can't even think of, like, okay, what kind of inflections would you have with this word? Like, I can't put it through.
That actually does make sense. Yeah.
So
it's funny that you say that, because right before you finished your thought process, I was thinking, like, it's funny, certain languages, because I'm familiar enough with them, I can kind of decipher a little bit of what it might be sort of pronounced, like maybe ish. And then there's some languages, like Celtic, or a lot of the, like, Norse languages, that I'm just like, my brain can't understand what 3 A's sound like altogether, and like things like that, you know. And it's like, And then when you find out, like, Siobhan is a name that's like Siobhahn, and I'm like, oh, that's
Siobhan.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that's Siobhan? Like, and then you look at it, and I'm like, how much else have I been completely mispronouncing in my head all this time? And yeah. Thank God we live in a time of technology where I can type things in and make it tell me what it sounds like.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like you were saying, where I could go off of, like, somebody's accent or something like that. I can get a little bit off of that, and then I could go off of, like, if I know anything from their language where I know how letters work together, I can do that. But when, like I said, when it's a fantasy world and I don't know what this language is supposed to sound like in the first place, I can't just make up a word.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally get that.
You got anything else, Jenna?
Mine was going to be less about publishing, less about the actual books, and my last, like, big thought is I cannot stand when I am in the very end of a book and people interrupt me.
Just reader life pet
Reader
peeve.
life pet peeve.
Reader life pet peeve,
Like,
yeah.
My husband, it's inevitable. It's inevitable my entire life. And he'll be
entire
like,
life
entire life of life with him. No, so it's funny because, like, we'll get to points and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he'll note, oh, I'm sorry. And then, Jenna, and like, oh my God. And you see this little vein in my forehead.
Your husband is the epitome of a golden retriever as a man.
Yes, he's the best. But it's like one of those things where it's like, for me, it's hard when you're in the beginning of the book. It's hard when you're in the middle of the book. It's an intense scene, whatever. But when I put all of this effort into reading this book,
and
I'm
so
immersed
close.
into it. And it's like, you're at the end. You're going to find out the pinnacle of everything that's going on and happening.
And you'll finish it in this sitting.
And you're going to finish it. And you're just so immersed in this book. And it's like, the culmination of everything that's gone into this. And people interrupt you and pull you out of it. And especially if it's happening, like, repetitively. And you're just like, I just want to enjoy I don't know. It's like having something, like, be floating in your tea or something, and then you just can't enjoy the last bit of your tea, or whatever. You're like,
because the dregs are there.
Yeah.
I saw once again another person on Book Talk say something about, like, reading is the one hobby where somebody else can decide when you're done doing it.
Marissa's like, I'm single. I live alone.
Yeah, I live by myself. I get to do whatever I want. Actually, no, the hard part is when I'm reading my book at work. Like, I'm walking the hallways and I'm reading it on my phone. If I know I'm getting towards the end of the book, I'm like, okay, I can't read this at work anymore, because I know inevitably if I get to take, like, a full lunch or anything like that, it's not going to happen, because that's going to be, I'll be reading my book and I'm going to get called to something. I'm like, no.
That's really good self-control.
yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, my husband knows how important my books are for me, but I also do not have a child that does demand attention. So if I just say to him, hey, I'm going to, like, stay up until 3 a.m. to finish this book, he's like, okay. Gonna regret it tomorrow, but okay. And then I'll wake up or the next morning, he'll be like, did you finish your book? And I'm like, yeah, I finished it before midnight. And he's like, dang.
Nice.
Okay. Or, like, what was it? Just this last month when I was in my book binge thing, I was like, I'm just going to read until I get to the smut. And he's like, okay. And then he laughed, and then I stayed up until, I think, 11:30 or something. And then I finally got it. And he's like, was it good? And I was like, nah, it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. I write better smut than that.
That was the other thing, valet, too. When Jenna and I worked in valet, we read books all the time because
so much downtime.
But inevitably, you'd be getting to the end of your book, and it's like, okay, now we have all these cars that need to be retrieved. And you're like, no.
I remember those days when the Brawless Book Guild was just us talking about the books that we finished from Owl Crate together.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were just like, yeah, we were so close to finishing. And then, of course, we had like 10 cars come in, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dang.
Yep.
Yeah, my husband, it's really funny because it's always like, he'll see like a video or think of something he wants to tell me. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, at the end of the book.
He always
and
has
then
to,
he has like something.
He, like, looks at you, he's like, hey, Jenna. And then he looks down at your book and he's like,
Yeah. And it's funny because we got to the point where, you know, I've been married. It'll be 4 years now. We've been together, gosh, like 9. And we got to the point where we finally he's understanding, right? And he still will do it, but I just give him the look and he's like, oh, I know now. Okay. And then we had a kid. And now it's like, I will be interrupted. It will happen. I will never get to that point where I just get the nice, like, solid, I don't know, hour of reading that I want, where I don't want it to be interrupted at all. I'm like, one day it'll be back. I'll be able to enjoy the ends of my books again.
Yeah. Couple years.
Yeah.
Until then, I mean, honestly, you are doing really well with reading this year, especially compared to last year, which I think did you read like 5 books?
I think it was a little more than that, but not by much. Like maybe 10 books or so, and a lot of them were books that were like quick reads.
Yeah,
that
just super quick.
Yeah,
easy, fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
To be fair, now you can set your kid on the ground and tell him to go play.
It had to be more than 5 books because I read all of our 4 books last year for our
that's right.
traveling books.
Plus, you had it was February last year that you did your, or was it the year before that you did your romance?
Yeah, that was the year before.
Okay, I was gonna say it couldn't have been last year because
last year February,
baby would have been
did nothing.
A month and a half.
I might have read like 1 or 2 books maybe in February.
Yeah,
if you read anything.
If I read anything.
You were still trying to sleep in February.
Right. Yeah. Sleep was not an option then.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any last minute pet peeves?
I think just about like read or life when my husband says to me, it's just a book. And this is the only time he has said to me, and it was when I was finishing the first J. Kristoff trilogy, the Lotus War trilogy. And I was at the end of the book and I was sobbing because a very like pivotal moment happened in the book. And this is probably the only book other than like the Dragon's Blood, Heart's Blood series that made me cry on the bus from a field trip that I have like felt like my world was ending when reading that series. I highly recommend it if you guys haven't. Steampunk, Japanese, inspired. It is so good. It is. I personally liked it better than Nevernight, but I feel like his writing was better in Nevernight, but this one I just loved because it was just so beautiful. And I just sobbed at the end of, I think it was Endsinger was the 3rd one, and I just sobbed because something pivotal happened, and I just like turned over, curled up against him, and he looked at me and he's like, what's going on? I was like, and then I told him, and then he was just like, okay, it's just a book. And I was like, don't you dare say that to me. Anyway, so he's learned his lesson and now he knows. But yeah. Have you guys ever had that moment where they say it's just a book, or do they understand?
I haven't had it on a book. My dad made fun of me. I brought this up a few chapters ago too, but my dad made fun of me because I was crying over an anime once.
What anime was it? Did we talk about
Yeah,
this?
it's Fairy Tail Zero.
Oh, okay.
But I think I was PMSing and stuff like that too, so it was a lot of stuff on top of it, but I just remember him coming in and I was crying. He's like, what happened? I was like, there's this really sad thing happened on the show, and he's all like, okay, all right. Just walked out. Like,
and that explains a lot of our dealing with emotions. Jelani, I don't think he's ever done that to me because he gets really wrapped up in like his video games and his animes and stuff too. So
he has his stuff too.
He'll get into his thing, so he understands like the attachment and the stuff like that. Also, I can only think of like maybe a handful of times I've cried over like that he's noticed. Like sometimes I might have like a single tear or something if it really like gets me, but like sobbing, crying, and for some reason my husband loves that when I show emotion and cry.
Yeah.
He thinks that it's like, oh look, there's a heart underneath all that ice or something.
Ice queen over here.
Because I don't do it very often. So okay, this is it's a book, it works, it's totally fine. The I Love You Forever little kid book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I loved that book. It's a great book. It was one of my favorites, for sure. One book that I wanted to have for my son in our thing. something about then giving birth to a little boy and being a mom of a little boy. The first time I tried to read that to my son, I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. It's weird. It hits you so different. And my husband's just like, big eyes. Like, oh my gosh, it made her cry. Best book ever. And I mean, he's tearing up because I'm tearing up and it's cute and it's a sweet moment. But he now like loves those moments. So if I ever like sobbed over a book, it would just be like, wow, I need to know why it made you cry.
Hey, I got him emotional over what I wrote in your son's book that I
Right.
got him, so I'm taking that as a win.
He also did like my first Mother's Day was he did like the sweetest present ever, and he gave me like just like a very simple photo album that he'd like slid some photos in of Elias and figured I could pick out my favorite photos, and he had put like the ultrasound in there. And we had 3 miscarriages before we had our son. And he had written a note from Elias, like, dear mama, like, I love you. You know, I can't, Dad is helping me write this now. And it was really, really sweet. And then he wrote one from the ones that we lost and like,
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
and I lost it and cried so hard. And like, I love that present. And it was super sweet and emotional. He's like, I made you cry.
A celebratory goals.
I know. He's like one of those people. He's like, it like was so satisfying to him that he made me cry.
Dang.
But yeah,
Yeah. Golden Retriever.
golden retriever.
All right. Well, on that note, since we're going to end in the all of us crying stage,
We're all bawling.
Yeah.
I love you forever. I like you for always.
So I think we should wrap up this episode because we've hit the hour mark. So let's talk about what we're reading. Megan.
So I talked about the audiobook I'm doing, The Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, which I have already decided that I will not do. And I'll hop back into, on my way home, the audiobook of The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri.
Oh,
Yes.
on the second one, huh?
Yeah. The funny thing about that one, though, is that the library, it said it was like, cannot produce wait time for it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe my thing's just glitching. Turns out they didn't have a copy.
Oh.
But when I requested it, they acquired one for me.
Oh.
Or if they had one, they had it like it was not available for a hot minute or something. But yeah, so they acquired one for me, so I got it. So thank you to the library. So I'll hop back into that one. That one is a little hard for me though, because I went from the physical copy for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Books to now the audiobook, and all of the pronunciations are completely different.
Yeah.
And
All
so
the
I'm
names and-
having to really focus and be like,
Wait,
who's that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll hop into that one. And then the physical book that I'm reading, I talked about this a couple episodes ago. A book that I did not finish was The Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb. So I'm reading that one to finish that one. I'll finish that one tonight. And I don't know what my next book will be. So yeah.
Jenna, what are you reading?
Did you finish Two Twisted Crayons?
I did finish Two Twisted Crayons.
Why didn't you talk to me?
We need to talk about that. I finished it in like the middle of the night, and I was like, I have to reach out and I have to talk to Megan, and so we'll probably talk about it on our way home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I finished Two Twisted Crowns a couple days ago, and then honestly, like my sickness and my son's sickness have been so bad that I've just been sleeping, so I haven't really started anything yet.
A book
and
break.
I'm at the moment where it's like I need to finish Amin al-Sarafi. I need to actually jump in and do that one. But I also kind of want to just do something quick and easy, so I may do the beach read really quick.
Oh my god, beach read.
Because
Annotated by best friend Hannah.
Best friend Hannah, and then add my little annotations in. So I might just do something quick and easy, and then
very quick.
and then jump into Amin al-Sarafi. But then part of me is like, I should just get it out the way. So essentially, homework Jenna is yelling at slacker Jenna.
Granted, I have had Eon on my shelf for a good month and a half, maybe. And I have read a total of 16 books in between the time I've had it to now. And I do not plan on reading it. I should. Okay, maybe once I finish Seven Faceless Saints, I'll hop into
Eon
it.
is so fast.
I know, but also It's just daunting.
Yeah.
It's when it's homework and you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I know.
100%.
I get it. I told Marissa that same thing. I was like, I know I need to finish Amin al-Safi. I'm like,
And I
not
know
even
I'll
on-
love it.
Yes, and I know I'll enjoy it.
But also, it's the homework aspect.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I had that reading Amin al-Sarafi too, where it's like I read a chunk of it and then stopped reading it for a while because it was homework, and then I read another chunk of it and stop again.
Yeah, we went through like the same pattern with our books for each other.
Yeah.
That we were just like, because I also took a break from the Jasmine Throne, that I was just like, I just need a break.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think, and I don't know, I haven't finished Amin al-Sarafi, but it'll be interesting to see. From my perspective, Eon and the book that I read,
June Farrow,
were very, very easy books.
Yeah, they're very easy.
They were very easy books to get through. Eon was definitely written more geared, I think, towards a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it reads like a young adult where you just get through it really fast. Amin al-Sarafi and Jasmine Throne were definitely more high fantasy.
Gotta use your brains.
So I'm definitely noticing more like, okay, I have to be like invested in this one, and I have to like pay attention. Which while I'm sick and while my son's sick is just not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
So, however, the other thing about reading quick books is that I noticed the quick books I don't want to put down.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
finished Beach Read in less than 24 hours. It was so good.
If I didn't have a kid, I'd literally just binge.
Yeah.
A book.
I wanted to say that I know what book Jenna's been reading. She's been reading Shapes for Elias. Circle, orange, square,
egg.
Yeah, can you like keep track of every book that you read to him every single night? You're gonna have to have a 300 book.
So we have one book that we read at least 3 times every single night, and sometimes 2 or 3 times before nap. It's his favorite book to read. We read it. I have it memorized now. I could literally read this whole book to you guys right now.
And which book is it?
And it's called I Love You Always.
Oh, yeah.
Marianne Richmond or something.
I can see the cover.
Yeah. It sits next to our bed. He wants to read it every night. He knows the parts. It's really cute because we get to the end and he goes, the end again. So we have a thing where I'll read it with the light on. So he knows I'm obviously reading the book. And then I turn the light off and I continue to turn the pages and read it. And the light's off.
But you have it memorized.
But I have it memorized.
Yeah.
And then I put it down and I just recite it really low. And then usually he's out by the third time I've recited it.
Routine. Love it.
Sometimes not so much lately because he's not feeling well. It hasn't been working out in my favor. But yeah, so he asks me to read it over and over and over again. And I think that book will live on repeat in my head for the rest of my life.
Probably.
How about you, Marissa?
I am still working my way through A Day of Fallen Night.
You've been keeping me updated. It's been very fun.
I've been messaging Megan and trying to remind her of what actually is happening around what I'm trying to talk about. Oh, because it's been, what, a year since you read it?
Yeah, a year and a half, because I read, it was last February or March that I went to the signing. And
yeah.
And again, I read some of it, and then listened to the audiobook, so it was not well retained.
Yeah.
But it is one I definitely want to reread.
So I've definitely been, like, trying to text you, like, my theories, and I'm like, okay, so this is the character that is like this. And we've also decided, I don't know if we've decided, but I would like to experiment with it and have Jenna read A Day of Fallen Night first.
Right.
To see what she will be able to guess versus what we're able to guess, because we know things that happen in the future.
Right. So I think I would like to do that if you're up for it. I mean, you already have the book, but it's massive.
Marissa has it.
Technically, I'm reading it right now. But yes, I think that would be very interesting to hear what she thinks, because I think there are things that she'll definitely guess that, and obviously I haven't finished it, so I don't know all of the stuff that happens. I think she will guess and predict a lot of things, but I'm so curious of what's going to throw her.
Right.
That we already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going into Priory, knowing what you know from this book, I'd like to see the experience of that as well.
Exactly. I'm curious to see how much they reveal in this book for Priory, and how much is
everything.
Everything?
Yes.
I was gonna say how much is like wrongly revealed.
And okay. I actually want her to write a prequel set during when the Nameless One was around and what happened to the Nameless One and how he was like quote unquote vanquished at the time. I really want that.
The true story
The
of it all.
true story.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's like the dream of mine for her to write, but she's already got her other books planned out, so.
Fine, I guess.
I
Dang.
know. We'll
But
see.
I see. It's funny because I feel like I get in these like grooves of reading it, and I'm like, oh, I made so much progress. I'm literally like 47% through. Like I've got a whole other half of the book to read.
So that was one when I was in Korea and I didn't have the physical copy and I only got the Kindle copy. And back then your Kindles would have little dots under the name of the book.
Yeah.
And it would show you just how big the book was. And like I had like the dots under the name that were like 5 dots or 6 dots. And this one was across the entire, like, and it would have the dots filled in or something for however percentage that you've read. And it was across the entire screen. And I was just like, no way. No way. And the only other book that I had that did that was 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. And that one was also a massive book. And it almost went to the end, but prior was bigger. And I was just like, dang.
I'm reading it simultaneously on my phone and in a physical copy of
Yeah.
it. So it's like I have to keep like going back and forth and finding my place. But I like it on my phone because I can click on it and be like, okay, how far am I? And I just checked before we were finishing up and it said 47% through. And I'm like, I feel like I'm at least 60% into this. Come on.
I've read so much. I'm like 80% done with this book. 40%. What?
So much is happening. People are dying right now and it's not even 50% through. What the
Right.
heck?
Right. Oh man, I love that book. I love that
Yes.
series.
I'm excited to talk to you about it once I finish it too.
Yes, very much. Me too. So I have a big announcement. It's not that big, but I have read the book that Jenna recommended to us a couple episodes ago, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I want to get to yours, the Kyoshi Warrior one, eventually. I don't remember what book I recommended.
I don't remember off the top of my head, I'll be honest.
Dang. Shows how much you guys care about me. But I read it, so I don't know. It's out of my brain. But your guys is
By that time, I had decided I'm not doing any more assigned readings, so I would come back to
it's
it later.
very fair. Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I read it right after beach read, so I think that I loved beach read so much that I didn't feel I gave the 7-Year Slip like the love it deserved. But I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's very cute, very fluffy. And like she said, there are 2 gay romances in it.
I know about them.
Yeah.
She told me enough about it that I know about it. Did you read, like, physical copy or did you do audio?
I did the physical copy. So I have 2 copies. I have the Fairy Loot version and then the regular paperback. Do you want the paperback?
Oh, yeah, sure. I love it.
Anyway, do you want to borrow?
Well, I was curious because I have been reading A Day of Fallen Night. I'm like, maybe if I feel like I'm up for an audiobook, maybe I'll do audiobook of that.
Yeah, I didn't do it in audio.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get an opinion on it before.
Right. That's
I
understandable.
I might do a sample and see if I want
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
It is only from, I think, the girl's perspective, so.
So interesting. I just went back and looked. This was not one of our, like, convince each other to read ones. 7-Year Slip wasn't one of those. I had done the...
What?
Originally, when we did it, we did the 2 of us each convincing one person.
Yeah.
Me and you did Dead Romantics.
Yeah.
So we did Dead Romantics to Marissa. You guys did Prior of the Orange Tree for me.
Oh, yeah. Jenna had the one she went on the rant about with the
And then,
vampires.
when we did the other one, it was the vampire one where I talked about it for like 500 years.
The serpent wing.
and the Wing of the Night.
Yeah.
But 7-Year Slip, I did go on a rant about how much I loved it. It was my, I think that was my favorite read at our half-year mark.
Oh, okay. Then
what
maybe
it
that
was.
was it. Oh, because we did do a mini recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
Of
did
what
the-
was your favorite read and do you recommend it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's probably
So
what it
never
was.
mind.
But
I have not fulfilled homework.
no.
I apologize.
Well, we just discussed
Still
like
worked out well.
Priory of the Orange Tree was what you guys convinced me to read, but I have to now put that on the back burner and do Day of Fallen
Do a Day
Night
of
first.
Fallen Night first.
Yeah.
So
But I will recommend Day of Fallen Night might be good as an audio because it has the full cast.
mhm.
And I do think, I don't know, since you've recently read it, do you think you can hop into that world easier?
You know, I was thinking about that too, because, I mean, I am hopping into this world knowing about it already,
Right,
so it's
right.
a little bit more difficult. I think the way that this one starts I like better,
Mm-hmm.
because it starts from the different perspectives and like the different families, like mother-daughter relationships that they're setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, like, I mean, they give you the backstory of the nameless one in Enos. I call it Enos. I don't know if that's how you call it.
I say Aenis or something.
Inus.
Inus?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The Inys, the one with the queen.
Innis. Innis. It's
Innis.
pronounced Innis. Yeah.
Okay. But they give the backstory of that family line pretty
Okay.
quickly
That's
off the
good.
bat on that. Because they talk about the
Right, because the
like 3 before the one
Right.
that we're talking about is
Glorian.
Yeah, so it was like, I can't remember what phrase they used for it, but it was like, hey, these were like the worst of all of them.
Okay, I
And we're
remember that.
past
Yes.
that now.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
they give a pretty good backstory, at least for that scene of it.
Okay. Yeah. I think, yeah, we'll have to see. So
Yeah.
whenever you, I mean, obviously we've all discussed that, you know, our homework assignments and our reading requirements that we've done this year have been a lot and a little over the top, so that it is no pressure for you to read it this year.
Pressure to it.
But also all the cool people are doing it, Jenna.
But at the same time,
Peer pressure. Peer
Yeah.
pressure.
They always talked about peer pressure growing up, and I never got peer pressured.
Peer pressure into
Ever.
reading books.
Only for books.
Only for books. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
On that note,
After we've ranted for the last 15-20 minutes after. Anyways, so before we head off, Jenna, where can they find us?
Instagram, Facebook, Gmail. No, Braless Book Guild podcast. On Instagram or Facebook or brawlessbookguild@gmail.com. Please send us anything that you guys would like to talk about us about. Comment on our photos. Tell us books that you want us to read. Send us funny memes. Anything. Tell us what your pet peeves are. Tell us if we talked about your pet peeves or if you have different
I'm
ones
sure
that
we
we didn't talk about. And then we'll rant with you about those through our social media as well. I promise I'll be better about getting on there and actually posting things. I promise. As soon as I'm
We're
healed,
okay.
we'll do it.
we have how many followers? Less than 100.
And, look, I had goals, guys. There's supposed to be 1,000 at the end of this
I know.
year. and-
We've got 4 months.
yeah.
All right.
Let's
Are you
book it.
feeling better,
Rank
Jenna?
it.
Should we push it?
We're just gonna go out and start
All the
handing
vitamin
out.
C.
But yeah, that's
All
where you
right.
can find us. Like, follow, review, subscribe, all those
Recommend.
things. Recommend. Tell people about us.
Yes.
Give
All
us
right.
those 1,000 followers.
Let's end this on a quote. This quote is from Whoopi Goldberg herself. It says, "I don't have pet peeves. I have whole kennels of irritation."
Which is very much what we did today.
Yes. Just ranted. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you. Bye.
Bye.